It's the most wonderful time of the year. Of course! We got Christmas, baby! Christmas is in 2 days.
Christmas is in 2 days, but not when you're listening to this. Wait,
Not when you're listening to
I'd probably be listening
Well,
to
actually,
this on
no.
Christmas.
This is on Christmas, yeah, because we release on Tuesday, so there you go, buddies. You're
Merry
welcome.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Of course, being that it's Christmas, we had to do our top 5 favorite Christmas films. Come on, cut. So,
I love that phrase. I love when you drop it.
yeah, that's my thing, man. I don't know why. I can't take credit for it, though. There was a guy named Tim. I used to go to school with him in Florida, and he used to always say that. He's like, come on, cuh. He's like, come on, cuh.
Yeah, I've heard it before. It's great, though.
Yeah, so I just kind of adapted that. I doubt he even says it anymore. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do, but you definitely start her up.
I have a list, my man. List.
A big list?
Big list of honorable mentions here.
Okay.
All right. Should I just go one by one, or like what should I do here? I'll just go one by one here. Actually, I mentioned the first two actually because they kind of go hand in hand. First honorable mention is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and second one is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The reason they're not on my list is because those are short films. They're not films.
Those are both on mine as well.
Yeah. So.
And yeah, for the same reason.
Yeah, they're like 34 minutes each. They're classics.
Obviously, the Grinch being the original.
The
cartoon.
original cartoon Grinch, yes.
Yeah,
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Yes, by Dr. Seuss. And Rankin Bass's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yep.
Both classics, but
Very
not films. They're short films.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of... Because I did have them on my list. But then I'm like, but they're not really films. So took them out to honorable mentions.
For sure.
Yep. You got a first honorable mensch?
Well, I mean, both of those were honorable mentions, so
Yeah.
I guess I'll throw in my favorite Rankin Bass film is probably Santa Claus is
Coming to Town. Yeah,
it's a great one.
It's a good one.
The origin of Santa Claus, and it's really interesting. Like he had the mayor or whatever. Like, oh, you can't do this. So that's how you can't enter anybody's house from the front door or whatever. You can't let them in. So he had to go through the chimney or whatever. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like this.
It is cool. Dude, Rankin Bass just takes me back to childhood, to Christmas. Like, they're amazing, dude. And I want a shirt of their logo just because their logo is really cool.
Yeah.
It's very 60s and I love it. Okay, my next honorable mention is The Santa Claus, the first one with Tim Allen. The sequels are pretty bad. Mm-hmm. But especially that third one, dude. I saw that third one in theaters, man. That third one was awful. But the first one is actually pretty clever. And it wasn't until recently where I understood the pun.
The pun?
The pun of the title. The Santa Claus. Like it's a clause.
Yeah.
Like for a lawyer, I was like, oh, wow, okay, I get it now. As a kid, you don't get that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty clever. And it's good. It's a good, wholesome Christmas movie. It's a bit dark. It's a bit dark in the beginning. It was actually going to be darker.
It's very adult.
It is adult, and it's very funny. But yeah, that's one of mine.
I think I only have one more.
Oh well, you say that one, and then I'll just do my
rapid fire.
Here. Yeah, I'll just rapid fire after.
So I guess okay, never mind. I'll extend it to 2 because I never got to bring it up on our last list, and it's pretty Christmas.
Okay.
So Elf, I guess, would be another one. Elf's great. Yeah. I think it's one of Will Ferrell's best movies.
So funny. Johnny Fab, baby. Johnny Fab.
I don't really care for him all that much on a regular basis,
Same.
but he does really good at being very pure, very genuine.
In that movie,
in that movie in particular. And it's kind of cute, it's kind of endearing, so I like that movie. Mm-hmm. What do you got?
Elf.
There you go.
Yes. I mean, Johnny Fab, baby. Johnny Fab.
Johnny Fab.
What can you say? I just like saying his name.
Johnny Fab.
Johnny Fab.
Short
Johnny Fab. Yep. All right, is that any?
I just got to bring up that I watched Tokyo Godfathers for this list, and it's not necessarily all that Christmas. I mean, it all happens on Christmas Eve. Yeah. And the whole idea is that 3 homeless people find a baby, and they all have their own things going on. One's a trans. One is homeless because of a get-rich scheme, and one of them's a runaway girl. Oh, okay. So they all kind of become a family when they find a child.
Oh, interesting. So it's like 3 homeless men and a baby.
Yeah. And it's great. It's very cute. I just watched it. It's maybe not as Christmassy, but there's a lot of Christmas miracles on there. There's so many conveniences, and it's you can chalk it up to, this is a Christmas miracle. Oh my god. And it's great. So,
okay.
So I'd watch that movie.
Is it like a comedy or is it like a drama? Like what?
It's a little bit of both, yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely got some funny moments. It's an animated film.
Oh,
a Japanese animated film, so kind of a little bit anime style, but it's like very, very grounded. There's nothing about it that's like
no, I got you.
anime.
I got you. All right. I'm just gonna do some rapid fire here. Arthur Christmas. Good modern Christmas film. 4 Christmases. A lot of people hate it. I think it's underrated. I thought it was actually pretty funny. A Christmas Carol from 1951. Alazar Sims. Mm-hmm. Christmas Carol. And A Muppets Christmas Carol. Miracle on 34th Street remake. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's a pretty good remake. I mean, there you go. It's not as wholesome as the first one, but I liked it. Mm-hmm. Home Alone, classic. Frosty the Snowman, again, classic. And then Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown. So
okay,
boom.
Dang.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
There's a lot of Christmas movies in there.
Yeah, dude. They're all great.
All the TV specials out of the way.
That's the thing, man. The TV specials stick with you more
They're
than
so good.
They're so good.
So.
All right. So who wants to start with the list?
I'll just start because my number 5 is actually one that was on your honorable mentions. Actually, a couple of these are on your honorable mentions.
All right, go ahead.
I gotta start with Charlie Brown Christmas because I've watched that more than any of the other one. I watch it so literally every year with my mom, and I felt really bad about not putting the Thanksgiving one or the Christmas or the October one. I'm sorry, the Halloween one on there because it's kind of got a special place in my heart. Mm-hmm. Same thing with this one, and I think. That unity at the end of it just captures the Christmas spirit.
Who was it at the end? Simon?
Linus?
Linus. Thank you, Linus. He has that great speech.
Linus always has the wisdom, dude. He's always dropping the wisdom. Even though everyone thinks he's crazy, he's not. He knows more about the holiday spirit than anybody else.
I'm telling you, dude. He's got that. He knows what the holiday's about. Boy,
he knows the origin.
He spreads that gospel.
Yeah, dude. He had the internet before the internet was there.
Pretty much. And Charles Schultz is Jewish, right? I mean, he's got to be Schultz. That's got to be a Jewish name, right? So
perhaps.
Come on, it's Schultz. But I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't make assumptions. But either way. That's an awesome dude.
He likes what the holiday represents,
yes,
even if he doesn't necessarily celebrate it.
Right, sure. Exactly. So there you go.
Great movie.
My number 5 is Christmas Carol from 1984 with George C. Scott. This was the first Christmas Carol I saw, and that a lot of people think the 1951 version is the definitive version, which I totally get. Mm-hmm. I totally understand. But Christmas Carol from 1984 has a special place in my heart because it was the first. I remember being like, our house was being renovated, so we rented an apartment. Mm-hmm. Me and my dad did. So when I was like really little, so at this apartment that we were staying in temporarily, like A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott was on it, and we just watched it together, and that was the first time I remember really seeing. Like I still remember watching the TV and seeing the Ghost of Christmas Future, come out and like freak me out. I was like, dang, dude.
And man, I love George
C. Scott, baby. He's so good. One of the greats. So that's the definitive version for me. Again, if you like Alazar Sims' Christmas Carol, totally get it. Totally understandable. But if I had to choose one, I think the 1984 version was my definitive version for sure. Mm-hmm. That's my number 5.
All right. My number 4 is The Muppets Christmas Carol.
Hey!
I love that.
That's a great film.
I think in some areas those movies they get pretty dark because you gotta see the darkness to appreciate the light or whatever. But this movie is it's so family friendly. It's always just bright to me. It's always like optimistic, and it's got Michael Caine in it. So it's I haven't seen it in a long time, but Muppets were my jam back in the day. Mm-hmm. I used to watch it all the time. The TV show, the short-lived 90s TV show.
Yeah.
And so Muppets are just they stuck with me.
Yeah, dude.
I still love them to this day.
They're great.
Genius comedy. Some genius sketch comedy.
Yeah, it's so good, dude. I remember the freaking that scene where they hop the gate or whatever, and the little rat goes through it, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot something," and like goes back through it. It's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know him by names. I'm sorry, but I can picture him. It's the blue guy with the nose and the little rat. I can't remember the name, but
you're killing me, dude.
I'm sorry. It's okay.
It's been so long.
It's okay. Point is, we remember how the movies made us feel.
Exactly.
More so, even if we haven't watched them recently, we remember how they made us feel.
They stay in the memory bank.
Yes.
So when I was looking through this list, I'm like, this movie's got to be on there.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, you good?
Yep.
All right, my number 4 is actually 2 films.
Okay.
That go hand in hand. Here's the crazy thing. Christmas, the first 6 letters is Christ.
Uh-huh.
And that's what Christmas is about.
Sure.
It's about the birth of Christ.
Okay.
So, of course, you got to put that on there. That's what the holiday is about. The holiday is Christmas.
Okay.
It is Greatest Story Ever Told with Max von Sydow and King of Kings. Now, Greatest Story Ever Told, I know is not well received that much. It's known as like one of the lesser Jesus biblical epics. Mm-hmm. It got pretty poor reviews. A lot of it is just really like a barrage of just kind of strange cameos throughout the film. Like even John Wayne has an odd cameo in there. But look, that was really the first Jesus story I saw. The first biblical epic I saw when I was a kid, so it stuck with me. Yeah. But King of Kings is a lot better. That was very well received, and it is a better film, and it details, both films go through the birth and death of Jesus Christ. There's probably like the nativity story with Oscar Isaac. I haven't seen that one, where Oscar Isaac plays Joseph. Mm-hmm. That's more so about the actual birth of Jesus, and I heard that's actually a really good Christmas film. But I've never seen it, so I couldn't put it on the list. So I put these 2 on the list because it goes through the entire history of Jesus. These 2 films are highly considered to be more Easter films than Christmas films, which I totally get. But I had to put them on here because this is what the holiday is about. The holiday is about, Jesus. That's literally what the holiday is about. So there you go.
Understandable.
Yeah, and a quick honorable mention, too. I didn't mention this one because I actually haven't seen it, but I've seen a ton of clips, is the mini-series of Jesus of Nazareth. I haven't seen it all the way through, with Robert Powell as Jesus, who plays an amazing Jesus. Yeah, I know it's the white Jesus thing, whatever, I get it. What Jesus wasn't white, blah, 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 I get it. Mm-hmm. But Robert Powell's performance as Jesus is iconic, dude. It was so good. And the freaking cast in Jesus of Nazareth, like Anna Bancroft, Ernest Borgnine, Laurence Olivier, Christopher Plummer, Anthony Quinn, James Earl Jones, Peter Unistov, and Rod Steiger. Those are great. Yeah. That's a great cast.
I mean, they knew it was important, so they gotta get in there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a quick retroactive honorable mention.
Sure. No,
but yes, King of Kings more so because that is a better film. But Greatest Story Ever Told holds a special place in my heart, too. So I had to put both those films as my number 4.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
good stuff, dude.
Heck yeah.
And you're thinking a little bit outside of the box.
Yes,
because I just went through, like, lists. I was pretty standard this week.
Well, again, there's a lot of, like, kind of pushback against what Christmas is about, like the origins of Christmas, and I find that very sad. Like, I was watching Double Toasted recently, and they're like, it's like, Christmas is really like a pagan holiday if you think about it. No one knows when Jesus was born. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, we know that. We know that no one really knows when Jesus was born. But the point is,
there's got to be a singular day.
Yeah, we picked a day.
That you always celebrate.
Like President's Day sort of thing. It's like...
It's like you're just like, oh, we're gonna change it now. Like, this is just a part of history.
We celebrate what it represents. Why do you think Easter moves around every year? Easter is always a different day every year. Because we celebrate what it represents more than the actual day. We don't know when it happens. And it's like, just celebrate what Jesus represented and what Christmas represents, which is the ideals of Jesus. So there you go. A booyah.
So that's your number 4, right?
That's my number 4.
My number 3 is it's Home Alone.
Home Alone!
Home Alone 1 and 2 are great. Even though it kind of does the sequelitis thing, it kind of does the same thing over again.
Yep.
But it's still so good.
I know.
It kind of took the stakes a little bit higher in some ways. Like, some of that stuff that happens to those guys, man, that should have killed them.
It should have killed them. Yeah, the second one is basically the exact same movie, but...
elevated in some ways.
Yeah, it's a good...
I really like... If there's anything that just does it better, like, I love the whole... I love you, baby. but my Tommy gun don't.
I
believe you, baby. It's like, no shit, that's so good.
Yes, it is the same film basically, but it's still fun, and it's a good double feature.
Yeah,
it's a good double feature.
It's fun, and I don't know how these shitty parents did the same thing twice.
I know. That's kind of the contrivance of that whole film, but you know what? We accept it.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie.
The fact that it happened to the same kid twice and that they learned their lesson from the first one, they didn't really learn their lesson. But I don't mind because it made for an entertaining sequel. And I love the Home Alone movies. I still do.
Yes.
Except for past that.
Yes.
I did for some reason when I was a kid. I had the VHS of 3, and I remember watching it a ton.
Dude, I watched it too a ton.
Yeah, they had the video on the
car, the remote control car.
The remote control car, and he goes over to the other person's house to like look through it and stuff.
Yep.
And there's a robbery going on. Yeah.
Creepy ass kid. Dude, I remember I think I have seen all the Home Alone films. All 5 of them.
All 5?
Yes, because I saw the first one because it's a classic. Second one because, again, it's not as good, but a classic. Third one, when I was a kid, I liked it, but I know it's garbage. The fourth one, I remember in 4th grade, they played it during, on our last day before Christmas break. She just played it on Home Alone 4. So I saw it in 4th grade. I don't remember anything about it. And then the 5th one, which was a straight-to-TV movie, was on like 5-6 years ago. And I just remember it being on TV. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we just kind of sat down and watched it because we were just bored, and it was awful. It was terrible. It was garbage. It was such garbage.
At least you could say you've seen them all.
I mean, we barely saw them all. Obviously, 4th grade doesn't really count as a watch, and when I was when I was watching the 5th one with my girlfriend, we were just kind of talking and like doing other things while it was on.
Okay.
So technically, yeah, sure, I've seen all 5.
Sure, but I'd consider it.
Yeah, sure.
It's not like you have to tune in the whole time.
Right. So, but the first 2 are the only good ones. Let's be real. Mm-hmm. Whew! All right, what am I on?
3.
Okay, I'm not gonna expand on this until later. But my number 3 is "It's a Wonderful Life" with James Stewart. James Stewart, great film, classic, dude. I wish I was never born. Well, this is what happens.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a Christmas card. That like 30-minute sequence up until the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. Wow, it's heart-wrenching.
It is heart-wrenching.
Every time I almost break down.
It teaches you the value of what not only
self-worth.
Yes, self-worth, and Christmas, and it just kind of embodies Christmas in that regard too. Where it's like, this is what Christmas is about, and you can also feel this way just any other time of the year.
Yeah.
But Christmas just takes that feeling up to 11 for this film, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, this film has become an all-time classic, which, you know, I don't want to dive too deep into it because I have a feeling we might be talking about it later.
Yeah.
All right, so,
I don't know how much about, like, I've mentioned this movie so many times.
Right.
I feel like a broken record.
I know.
But, yeah, the fact is it boils down to this, really. It's not even really about Christmas. It's just inspirational in the fact that you just got to appreciate what you have. I mean, there's a lot of things that you wanted to do in life and that you probably didn't get a chance to do or whatever. In this case, he never got to travel. That's the one thing he wanted to do. But it's about appreciating the things that you have and not being content with them, but being more than content with them. Being like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. It's not what I didn't know that I wanted. And appreciating your family and stuff like that.
Yes.
Those. Oh my God, his family is fucking wonderful.
Oh, dude,
they're perfect.
Yeah, dude, that last scene is like heart wrenching and like such a feel good way, dude. I love it. Oh, I love that film.
That's what it boils down to.
And the cinematography of that film too is amazing.
It really is.
The black and white cinematography is some of the best I've seen. So good. All right. You're next. What's your number 3?
Well, my number 2?
Or yeah, your number 2.
Well, I mean, we already know what my number 1 is, so I guess this is technically be my... my number 2, I just watched it for this list.
Yeah.
And it was as good as I thought it was.
Yes.
Miracle on
I knew it, yes!
Yeah, so I did love it.
So did you watch the black and white version or the colorized version?
Of course, the black and white version.
There it is, baby. There it is.
And I think this movie is more timely than ever, given the fact that kids really don't believe in Santa.
Yes. Due to like technology now and the advent.
Due to technology, due to the way that they were raised.
Yeah, there's this weird fucking these weird fucking like parents like who have this weird thing against the idea of lying to your kids and Santa Claus. It's like they don't understand what Santa Claus represents.
Or maybe let me give you an alternative to maybe their motive. Maybe they just don't have the money to give their kids what they want.
That's true, but I remember when I was in Florida, there was a guy named Matt there. He was married, and he was telling me once. This was at a Thanksgiving party actually, and he was like, "Yeah, me and my wife are not going to tell our kids about Santa. We're going to straight up tell them that it's a lie from day one." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Because it's dumb. Like, why would you lie to your kids? Like, why?" Like, it's just, I'm not going to teach my kids fairy tales, stuff that's not real. And then I'm like, yeah, but
that's not the point.
That's a part of growing up, though. A part of growing up, realizing Santa is not real is like almost like a turning point in your life, And Santa represents the innocence of childhood. So now you want to strip away the innocence of childhood, which is kind of what Natalie Wood represents in this film. Which, by the way, she's great as
she's a wonderful child actor, and I thought she was topping her mother's character in a lot of ways.
Yes, she was absolutely fantastic, and that's what she represents. It's crazy how timeless this movie is because of how freaking she's basically in the mindset that many kids are in nowadays. But at the same time, it's like kids want that wonderment. They want the freaking the peaceful and innocent nature of the holiday, which is what it is. Mm-hmm. Santa Claus. It can be real in our hearts, you know what I mean? And it's like, why are people trying to deprave children of this beautiful thing? You know, it's like it's such a pet peeve of mine when people nowadays are just trying to deprave their kids from something that's so innocent. There's nothing bad about telling your kids that there's a Santa Claus.
No, not at all.
There's nothing bad at all.
Let them be a kid.
Yeah, let them be a kid. Because guess what? When you grow up, life kind of sucks, okay?
Yeah.
So it's like, just let them enjoy it. Why do you want to just straight up throw them into the fucking, the
wildfire.
The wildfire already. It's just like throw them into the middle of the fucking Amazon right out the gate. Tell them, yeah, by the way, this isn't real. This isn't real.
You're gonna hear about this fictional thing. Yeah. Don't listen to them.
Yeah, don't listen to them. All that stuff is like dumb. Blah, blah, blah. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you say that because my uncle was dating a woman when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was maybe like 12 or something like that, and she had a kid who was like 4, mm-hmm. and the kid was like, "Yeah, I know that Santa's not real. Like my mom told me or whatever."
That's sad,
and,
bro.
Like we got the kid a gift and everything. It's like, thanks. Here we are with my little brother who's like. Maybe he was like 3 or 4, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're giving him a gift and we're like, Santa got you this and stuff. And then it's like, the kid's like, well, thank you guys for getting this for me. It's like, you're fucking brainwashed.
Right.
You're not human. You're not a kid.
Seriously. There's something so amazing about the innocence of childhood, and that's what this film represents. The real world trying to deprive you from that innocence, and then you got the savior coming into the world saying, you know what? No, children are important. Children, the innocence of childhood is important.
And it's like what is it? Like a 12th of the year, we can just stop being assholes.
Yes.
Even if some people are faking it, I don't care.
Yes.
I want people to be genuine to their children.
Yes.
And
and that's what this film goes...
It's not too much to ask.
Yeah, and that's what this film goes against. This film goes against the pessimism that some people have about Christmas. And the fact that it even takes place in a department store, Macy's,
Macy's.
It does. It takes place in Macy's. Freaking... The whole it's a commercialized holiday about consumerism, blah. That's really what it's about. They kind
of touch up on that too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they're like, well, we're gonna send people to other stores because that's what they want, and in return, this will boost our sales. Yeah, it's like that's kind of scummy, but yeah, you're giving people what they want.
But yeah, it's kind of scummy. But at the same time, everyone has this pessimistic attitude toward like the commercialization of Christmas and consumerism during Christmas time. And I'm like, but look, I know we talked about this last podcast, but it's fun. And the idea of Christmas, it's fun and innocent and pure. So shut up.
It's like the people like Santa Claus who want what's best for these people.
Mm-hmm.
They send them away or whatever. Like they're trying to steer them in the right direction to what they want or something like that. But then of course the companies come in and they're trying to ruin it or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it tackles that consumer it's something I appreciated about the movie. It's something that's also like kind of timeless about the movie. It's a little bit deeper than I expected, and it has some of those Christmas miracles and stuff like that. It wasn't. Yeah. It kind of rides a fine line of like reality and fantasy.
Yeah, it really does.
Which is kind of cool.
It does. And also,
bless you.
Boom!
Hit him on the dab.
Hit him on the dab. Also, the remake actually isn't that bad. John Hughes' remake, Miracle on 34th Street. It's nowhere near as good. What's her name? Mara Wilson plays Natalie Wood's character, the little girl. Matilda, yeah. But, and she takes it a little too far. Because, like, Natalie Wood is a kid, and she's innocent, and she's still, she's kind of being told by her parents what's real and what's not, blah, blah, blah. But there's still, parent, yeah. But there's still, like, a childlike innocence to it, to her character, whereas Mara Wilson's character is almost like a robot. Like, she's almost way too wise by what? Oh God, I can't fucking talk. Way too wise beyond her years. But overall, still a good film.
That's something that I noticed about Natalie Wood's character. Is like she's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'll ask my mother if the item is sensible. Or whatever. It's like, wow, like that's pretty fucking weird. But she was very well behaved.
She was. I just rewatched that film. It was on AMC, the colorized version, and I loved this film so much. I love it so much. So yeah, that's your number 2.
You love it so much as your number 2?
I love it so much. It is not my number 2.
Okay.
My number 2 is A Christmas Story.
Okay.
Classic. What can you go wrong? I know that a lot. Now it's become sort of like overhyped, a little overrated to a lot of people's eyes. But I think if you watch the film, it's a very subtle film. And that's what I like about it. It's just a very subtle film about family. It's kind of a quirky, kind of dry comedy.
Kind of
mundane comedy about real-life Christmas, though. There are some really nice moments about Christmas in this film, including when the father and mother are just sitting by the fireplace with the Christmas tree, just like overlooking, the snowy landscape outside. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's a really beautiful scene, and that's kind of what Christmas is about. It takes place in like the 40s, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's a really innocent Christmas film. Good coming-of-age film, honestly. I guess you can call this a coming-of-age film.
Yeah, I would consider it.
Yeah, and it's probably the best coming-of-age film I've ever seen, honestly, because you know me and coming-of-age films. So, this is a good one. It's a good one. I mean, what can you say about Toy Story? Toy Story. A Christmas Story that hasn't already been said. I mean, you'll shoot your eye out, kid, Again, people have taken this and blown it up. There's a Broadway musical about it. Why? It's merchandise throughout the roof. There's a lot of consumerism behind it, but that doesn't really bother me, like I've said, because that movie is always there, and the central message of that movie is always there. When this movie came out, it was actually kind of a flop. Did you know that? Like, it didn't make any money.
Yeah, I did hear that.
And it wasn't, well received at all. It wasn't until over time where people realized, wow, I can relate to this Christmas Story. This is actually really, really good.
Actually, it was kind of similar to It's a Wonderful Life. Nobody liked it until they started throwing it on TV, 50 years later.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This stuff happens, dude. I'm telling you. Did you know? Here's another fun factoid for you. A Niko-toid.
Okay.
The director of this film, Bob Clark, also directed the original Black Christmas.
Yeah. I did know that. We actually talked about that.
Did we? Okay, yeah. It's just to a lot of people that's very strange because Black Christmas is not a Christmas story.
Actually, we talked about this on the Halloween bits.
Oh, did we?
Yep.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. Bob Clark directed this.
He likes Christmas.
He likes Christmas, yeah. And regardless if it's a horror or if it's a very wholesome family coming-of-age dramedy. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about it. So that's my number 2. And what's your number 1? I wonder. What is it?
It's Scrooged with Bill Murray.
I knew it! I knew it.
No, it's not, yeah. I literally can't say anything more about this movie because I feel bad.
It's a Wonderful Life.
I almost feel bad.
It's a Wonderful Life is your number 1.
It's my number 1.
Yeah.
No shit.
Well, we're going to end this on a very anticlimactic note because my number 1 is Miracle on 34th Street.
I knew it. I knew we were swapping.
Yeah. So
we have nothing to say anymore.
Nothing to say.
I'm actually, I kind of maybe regret not throwing Christmas Story as an honorable mention.
Honorable mention? Well, retroactive, baby.
It's I don't know. I mean, I don't like it as much as everybody else does.
Yeah.
And that's maybe because
of how overplayed it is.
It really is. Like,
I mean, a 24-hour marathon.
Every single scene, but in reality, that's probably good. Mm-hmm. That you can remember so many scenes or whatever, and you see them all over the place, and people, not mock them, but they like use them like for like spoofing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good thing. But I don't know, you just get tired of it after a while.
You haven't made it. You don't know if your film is good until you spoofed it. Until
somebody spoofed it. Yeah.
That's right. You know the Fairly Odd Parents. You know they spoofed It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah.
But they're like, I wish I was never born, and then everyone is better off.
I remember that. I remember that episode. Yep.
That's fucking amazing. That's hilarious.
That's fucked up, though.
That is fucked up. Especially for a kid's movie. Or a kid's show.
Kid's show, yeah.
Oh, that was funny. Oh, my God.
So...
Yeah.
Well, you're right. It's very anticlimactic.